Oh, we already got people in the stream. Let's go. Am I actually live yet? I gotta go to my channel real quick and find out. Oh, I am live. All right, cool. You know, yesterday we had some technical difficulties. Today we don't, so that's good. We'll jump straight in, you guys. Good morning. It is January 23rd. It's a Friday, and the market is doing some absolutely crazy stuff. We're going to get into silver and gold specifically today. It makes me a little nervous, you guys. We'll break into why that is, but for those of you joining for the first time, or if you're watching this in the playback, I stream Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we do a comprehensive wellness check on the market that covers off crypto, gold, silver, the Japanese bond market. We'll get into that in a little bit, and also the U.S. stock market. So we do this overall wellness check to see where, you know, things are moving, how we're doing in the overall markets, so that we can position ourselves as best we can for, you know, long-term growth. After that, we usually kind of break out, talk about different tokens, things that you guys are interested in, and we'll also just cover, you know, global news that's going on in the space. Davos does wrap up today, so it's the last day for the WEF. That's the World Economic Forum. Lots of drama coming out of that. Unsurprising, it turns out that the whole world hates Trump and Trump hates the whole world. We have to kind of, you know, break some of that down because it can affect crypto. So I want to really quickly say good morning to everyone, and then we're going to jump straight into it. Good morning, Dean. Good morning, Baller. Good morning, Scorpio. Good morning, Pat, FRD, Steph. Glad to see you guys all here in the chat today. Let me see if there's anything specific you guys were writing about before we jump in. I see some paragraphs here. Silver literally hit $100 a few minutes before I went live here. I kind of wanted to catch it live, but I wasn't fully ready to turn the cameras on at that time. So you can see my hair is a little wet still. But that is what it is. It is at $100 at least for now. Probably going to keep going up too. Personally, I don't know that I would be buying silver at $100. Not that I don't like silver, but I'm a little worried that we have a little bit of a silver bubble going on here. We'll break all that down. I want to catch up with the chats. Baller says, it seems like not long ago they would give away silver bars if you bought a bowl of soup. Silver is another of my should've, would've, could've moments. You know, hindsight is 2020. I don't have any silver. I'm in the crypto. I'm in the crypto space. I made my bed with crypto, and I'm laying in it. So, crypto's down, silver is up, but I do believe in the long run, things are going to find their level. The thing that really worries me about all of this is the U.S. dollar, and we'll jump into that once I start displaying the screen. So, you know, everyone's saying good morning. So Steph says, evil leaders don't like Trump, but I do. You know, I use the Davos summit as a litmus test. If all of these people, or not, I don't even want to call them people, maybe I'll call them lizards. I'm kidding about that one. But if they're not happy with us, then we must be doing something right. I don't expect Macron to have anything good to say about us. And when I say us, I mean like the United States. The Finnish guy, I don't know his name, but these are not things that surprise me. Most of these guys, by the way, are very crooked. They don't actually represent the European people. So for my European brothers and sisters watching the stream and watching the channel, I think that you and I want to see Americans and Europeans flourish. I don't really like us being enemies, but there's no denying that at the government level, where the politics are involved, things are not good between, you know, national relations. So, you know, I don't have anything against my Russian brothers or my English brothers or my German brothers. I would like a world where we're all working together and doing well. But as we know, the governments are got a different plan in mind, and that's just always how it's been and probably always how it will go. I'm very thankful for social media, because if it weren't for social media, I'm getting my screen set up here, by the way. If it weren't for social media, we would still probably hate each other, right? Like, you think about how World War I and World War II were. The only thing you knew about the enemy was what the propaganda posters told you. And then they have that story about Christmas morning in World War I, where both sides got out of the trenches and played some soccer together. And it's stories like that that really make me think, you know, we live in different countries, but we're not so different. And thanks to social media, we can have that World War I Christmas moment every single day. So that's actually a little white pill for you guys. I think that social media has showed us that we're not so different after all. And that really applies also to China. You know, I see a lot of Chinese social media channels, and I'm like, wow, I actually really like these guys. So I think social media has actually done a lot of really good things, and that's my stance on that. So it's a little white pill for the morning. Jump into the charts. I do want to address some of the comments. What's going on, Deep? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching my collab video yesterday. Your comment got a good chuckle out of me. And I appreciate that you guys noticed that I had a spelling error in the thumbnail of my video. If it wasn't for you guys, I would have went to bed and not noticed it. So I did fix that spelling error. A little embarrassed by that, but you know, thankfully I fixed it before too many people noticed. So, by the way, I did my first collab video yesterday with George from Uptrade. They're an Australian-based boutique brokerage. So think like Binance or Coinbase or Kraken, but on a very small scale. So it's a lot more of a familiar space. We just started talking about a week or two ago. We plan on doing some more regular content together. Pretty exciting stuff. I'm very open to doing as many collabs as possible. It's a really good way to, you know, inject yourself into this space and be part of the ecosystem. So we'll see how that thing flourishes. It was my first one. I'm sure there will be more down the line, and it's time for my coffee slurp. Let's see. Umrox says, only way to build relations is Hell's Kitchen cross Great British Bake Off collab. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but I do appreciate you guys for watching that. Yeah, the collab we did was a little bit retirement focused. So something that they do that I actually think is really cool. It's something I actually am thinking about doing myself. Not that I'm currently working a full-time job, as you guys know, but if I were to be working a full-time job, I actually would consider going to Uptrade to specifically for that 401k plan that they've got. So you can roll an IRA over to their platform. We didn't necessarily go into the details of it, but I talked with George offline, and it's something they're able to do pretty easily. You just fill out the paperwork. From a user standpoint, they basically put everything in front of you, and then you just sign it. So on your end, it'd be really easy. I'm thinking about doing it myself if I ever do return to regular work, because this would allow you to buy physical tokens. And I gotta correct myself because I say that often. You don't get the physical tokens, but you get the tokens. It's not like an ETF where you get shares of the tokens. You get the actual tokens, and this could go into an actual 401k. Very cool stuff. You could buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. Even the ones that don't have ETFs, you could buy Flare, you could buy Cardano. Sorry, I'm having some hiccups here. Buy Quant. You could buy all these ones out there. You don't need to have an ETF to participate, which I think is really cool. And then they do plan on sometime down the road, they don't have a roadmap for it yet, but they would include that in the rewards program, so you could potentially get yield on that, where I'm not sure you could with ETFs. So cool stuff. We'll see how that develops. I'm going to keep working with them and making collab videos, and we'll see where it goes. For now, looking at the market, no surprises here. The market's going to probably finish the week down. Just about everything has had a pretty rough week. The only exception to that would be Quant. Now, Quant has really been interesting this week because even here looking at the chart, let me scroll it down a little more so you guys can see. Quant is the one green bar on this whole page, and I'll just move myself over so you guys can see that better. I'll put myself back in a minute, but Quant is right here at 66. I've got it highlighted. The only other thing that's gone up is layer 0. Now, I don't really know layer 0 that well, but I have been looking into Quant. It makes sense to me that Quant doesn't necessarily have to follow the rest of the market because they're not actually blockchain. They are their own operating system. And the more I look at Quant, the more impressed I am by it. Over the past month, we can see pretty good forward growth despite everything that's happened. And even Quant's had a little bit of a pullback. Everything has. But they've actually held on to all of their growth that they had from the previous 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, they were trading at $67. I guess that would actually be 3 weeks ago. On January 1st, they're trading at 67. Now they're at 79, and this 79 is representative of the dips that we've had this week. So they're still, in the grand scheme of things, one of the only coins that's actually up for the month. I'm glad that you guys put me on to Quant because before I was streaming, I actually didn't have any. I've been buying small amounts, nothing crazy. It'll take a long ways to go to turn this into $1 million, but I think it is something that I'm going to start dollar cost averaging into. Maybe not a large position, but on a personal level, I've already got a substantial, I don't want to share too much, but I've already got my XRP and my flare goals met. I'm working on H-bar currently, and then I can add Quant to that just to kind of round out my own portfolio. I still think, I did that video maybe it's been 2 weeks at this point. Let me scroll it down here. I'm sure a lot of you have probably seen it. Where is it? Here we go. The entry level targets for crypto. Nothing's changed about this. I would just add Quant to it. I would just add 100 Quant. I don't know if I'll reshoot the video. I think it's probably too soon to do something like that, but I still believe 10K XRP, 100K H-bar, and 1 million flare is a very good target. And then you just simply add 100 Quant to that and you are good to go. Aside from that, our other favorite coins, H-bar and XRP, have unfortunately not really done that well this week. And their charts look almost identical. If I show you guys the XRP chart, it basically looks just like this. So it's unfortunate. It's not what we want. We wanted it to be going up. But it is what it is. We're still, when you check these charts on a daily basis, sometimes you can kind of get caught up in the moment. If we just chill on these and wait, by 2030, you're not going to remember these market dips. But in a little bit of like a white pill, I suppose you could say, I'm going to drag this chart out a little bit. Let's see if I can drag it to 2 years. Every time these tokens hit a bottom, like a real bottom, that's when the big spikes come. And I'm not saying it has to always be that way. And thanks, Pat. None of this is financial advice, by the way. This is all strictly my opinion. I'm not a licensed professional. I'm not a financial advisor. So do your own research before making purchases. But if you look right here, this was November 4th of 2024. H-bar was at its all-time low for the year at what looks like 4 cents. And then over the span of, 2 weeks, it shot up to 30 cents. And that tends to be the trend that crypto takes. It's kind of like it's always darkest before dawn. Even if we kind of zoom back out, if we go back to the 2021 era, let me tighten this up so that the chart looks a little cleaner. In the 2021 era, H bar was at 3 cents before going on a major run. Now, that was when it was, for the most part, at its lowest for the year in 2021. If I really tighten this up, you can see how it was, going from around 4 cents down to just a hair under 3 cents before going on the run. I think we're looking at a similar case right now, and I know that the saying is that past performance doesn't predict the future, but I do think that there's definitely a pattern here, and with H bar being as low as it's been since before, I guess this is the lowest it's been since that December 2024 spike. So we haven't seen it go below that, which is good. I do think that we've got some resistance here. But if you're buying H bar for the first time since December 2024, this is actually the best deal that you could have gotten in really the past 15 months. So kind of just some optimism, some white pill news that everybody looks at charts in hindsight 2020 and they'll say, oh man, if I could have bought silver at $30, then I would have 3x'd my money. But you can't go back in time. But right now we are quite literally living in that time with H bar being at this price, and not just H bar but XRP as well. Their charts are very comparable. And instead of being down in the dumps that maybe things didn't play out the way we wanted it to, just kind of recognize this as a very good buying opportunity. Not financial advice, just my own opinion. But I don't think this has too much further down to go. Some people are saying they think XRP is going to go down to $1.50. I don't know if I believe that, but let's just say that it did. If XRP goes down to $1.50, you guys know what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy more. And if it goes up, it goes up. If it goes down, it's basically, if you play the long game and you realize where this market's going, crypto is the future, whether Davos and the WEF like it or not. We know it's only a matter of time before all of these tokens end up basically taking over the financial world. And when they do, the growth on that is going to be extraordinary. I want to catch up here on the chat, see what we got going on. Steph says, hey Andrew, did you see the recent video that Edo did regards XRP not being what you think it is and giving the real meaning using AI decoding? If you do, I don't think I've seen it. I'll pull it up. I don't know if we'll watch it. But let's at least give it a shot. So it's Eda Farina, right? Is it this video? If you guys could tell me which video it is, maybe we'll watch that segment and then move on from there. I'll just link the video and then put it in the chat, and if you guys just kind of confirm oh, this is it. We won't watch the whole thing, but I will at least. You guys said to jump to 6:30. Maybe we'll watch a minute or two of it and then hop back into the charts. We're gonna move to silver here in a minute, but we will check this out real quick.
Of others are the
let's start at 6:10.
Do your own prayer work, whatever you want to do, because this is coming through AI generated intel work. But what it says is the core thesis is it says XRP is not your friend, it's a weapon. Stop thinking of the XRP as a community project or decentralized dream. The subconscious data is unequivocal. XRP is a highly engineered financial weapon designed to conquer and integrate the legacy system. You are not a partner in this journey. You are ammunition. Your capital, your belief, your endurance, these are the resources being used to load and fire this weapon. The leadership's primary loyalty is not to you, the bag holder, but to the mission of institutional capture. So it has actionable implications here. Stop waiting for the community moon. you will be disappointed. Now, again, not financial advice. This could all be wrong, but this is what the intel says. Your strategy must shift from hoping for a retail-driven pump to positioning yourself to profit from a hostile institutional takeover of the financial rails. 2
Yeah, I agree with that. Maybe we could let it run for another minute. I think what he's saying is interesting, but I want to add some color to this. If you guys have been checking in day to day on the stream, you know that I'm not a big fan of the international banks, and I'm not entirely thrilled that Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse are at the Davos summit. Instead of this being to me like a spiritual war, and I know this might sound kind of pessimistic or a little bit black-pilled, but just kind of bear with me for a second. I don't necessarily think that Ripple are the good guys, so to speak, as much as I believe that they're going to win. And so what I'm really doing is, in my own estimation, picking the winning team. And then my plan is to use the capital that comes from that to then go out and do good things. I'm not necessarily expecting Ripple to go out and do good things. And I also don't think that any of us, like you, me, or anyone else on Twitter or YouTube or wherever you're getting your crypto content, I don't think any of us have any effect on the price. I mean, we'll watch another minute or two of this, but just to jump back to XRP real quick. I'm not sure you guys can see with the font being as small as it is right now, but the market cap for XRP is $112 billion. For reference, that's bigger than General Motors and Ford combined. If you put those two companies together, they don't combine have $112 billion. And so you have to think, XRP is an absolute giant. Even if it sometimes doesn't feel that way, Ripple is basically one of the biggest companies in the world. And you and I buying XRP, I mean, come on, we don't come anywhere close to putting a dent in 112 billion. So I do agree with what he's saying there, that if he's calling us ammunition, maybe that's kind of aggressive language, but I agree with the overall idea that this is a hostile takeover of the financial system. And honestly, that just gives me another reason to be bullish. I just want to see. Sorry, I got the hiccups. I'm having some coffee here. Coffee always gives me hiccups for some reason, but let's just play another minute or two of this, and then I want to talk about silver soon. So we'll watch maybe 2 minutes, add some content, and then we'll jump over to silver. By the way, I see there's 32 of you guys in here. Only got 13 likes. If you guys could help me bring that up to 20. As always, the likes really do help tell YouTube to spread this live stream to more people.
2.0, decoding the purge, why your asset was garbage. Now, let me clarify what that means. The leadership subconsciously viewed the last bull run as a garbage fire of worthless projects. The bear market was not an accident. It was necessary and a desired purge. The scream you heard, the pain you felt as your portfolio collapsed, is the same pain the leadership subconsciously acknowledged, and this is what the reversal phonetic pattern said, heard him scream. So in reverse speech, that is the archetypical subconscious mind talking about the market in general and the participants in the market. So this is not empathy, it's the acknowledgement of collateral damage, the altar of sacrifice. Your losses and the losses of thousands of others are the sacrifice required to cleanse the system. The garbage had to be burned away so that the real asset, XRP, could be seen as the only surviving compliant solution in a regulatory wasteland.
Yeah, I see where he's going with this. I've said it on the channel as well. My strategy is to be a palm tree or a stick of bamboo, if you will, in a hurricane. Bend but don't break. A personal story of mine I've shared a few times, but I've been holding NVIDIA since I was in high school. And so I have a and I'm not going to share that part, or I won't share my screen on that, but I have a reference point that I can look at on every single day to remind myself what can happen over a 10 or 15 year period. Now, I bought Nvidia with money that I was making from a grocery store. I was like 18 years old at the time. So it's not like I've got I don't have a McMansion with a Lambo in the driveway off my Nvidia, but what I do have is a reference point to see what compounding growth really does look like. And I plan on holding Nvidia for the rest of my life just so I can continue having that reference point. Now that I'm an adult, I'm in my 30s, I have more capital, I have a full-time job, or at least I used to, and now I'm full-time YouTubing. But anyways, I have the ability to buy more assets than I did when I was an 18-year-old pushing shopping carts at a grocery store. And I see XRP as another Nvidia opportunity. And so I'm okay with the long game. I can wait this out. I can hang with the best of them. If XRP were to go dormant for 3 or 4 years, I doubt I would sell a single token. And to be honest with you guys, I would never sell at a loss. I have stinkers. I've had stinkers in the past. I hold on to them for a very, very long time. The only stinker that I ever really sold was Snapchat, because Snapchat was like really fell hard, and I sold it for the tax loss. I didn't actually need the money. There is some value to selling a stinker so that you can claim some tax losses on it, but if you just look at where Snapchat's at, maybe this company's not coming back. But XRP definitely will. I mean, Snapchat's not going to Davos, the WEF summit, and gets a chair on the main stage. So, but this is just an example, right? In general, if something goes dormant, you're better off holding on to it and hoping that it comes back around. Otherwise, whatever your initial investment was, once you sell it, you're confirming that you lost money. And if you don't need the money, like if you're not hurting and you can maintain your lifestyle with paycheck money, I think it's totally fine to let them hang dormant. I want to see if he finishes the thought. We'll watch one more minute of this and then jump back over to the charts.
Actionable intel. The leadership is not afraid of the pain. They are willing to let the price fall to whatever level is necessary to achieve their strategic goals. Do not expect a bailout. Do not expect a pump to save you. Your only defense is to have a cost basis and a holding strategy that can survive this calculated indifference to retail suffering. Number 3, the Caesar complex, from victim to conqueror. The entity has shed its victim identity, which is called the curse in the subconscious acoustic phonetics, and has adopted the subconscious persona of a conquering emperor. Quote, I'm Caesar now. This is the single most important shift in the psychology. This means war. The Caesar complex is not about building bridges. It's about marching on turf and eliminating rivals. The war is no longer just with the SEC. It's with every competing project, every non-compliant exchange, and every skeptic who stands in their way. The Skeever reversal.
It's interesting stuff. I want to watch this offline so I can really kind of take it all in. I think it would be maybe unfair to Edo. You guys call him Edo? Probably be unfair to him to watch his whole entire video. Good snippets from this. This is interesting stuff. It kind of has like the Greek mythology aspect to it. The hero's journey, going from victim to conqueror. Some Old Testament stuff in there as well, like Joseph from the Bible goes from being thrown into a hole by his own brothers to becoming the prophet of Egypt. So stuff like that, I could see XRP playing out that way. I really do. I want to jump over because I want to make sure we cover the big news today, which is silver. This is the wrong chart. Let me close out of this. Japanese bond market has stabilized. I think there could be some crossover here from silver. I'm going to pull up the silver chart. I'm a little nervous about this because, I mean, geez, guys, it's up $1 since we started the stream. This is growing like a meme stock, and it's not supposed to do that. Silver and gold in particular are supposed to be stores of value. So for this to be moving the way that it is, it tells me that there is something deeply wrong about our financial situation altogether, because, you know, silver and gold are not companies. They're not, you know, there's no profit, there's no earnings calls. For them to be growing like this, well, gold and silver don't grow, right? It's quite literally coins that you put in a vault. Why are they going so much up in value? I think that we are, honestly, you guys, I think we might be on a 2007 level standpoint where we might just be a few months away from another financial crisis. And I don't say that lightly. And I know that those of us here on this channel, I think we're going to be fine. Whether you're buying silver and gold or buying crypto or buying both, anything's better than buying the US dollar. And I also think to that level, I'm not really sure if stocks are going to do well either. So right now the stock market's just below 7,000, but it's not even coming close to keeping up with where silver's at. In the past year, silver is up 230%. The stock market only up, well, the stock market, let's see here. The percentages on here are not showing for some reason, but the stock market last year was at 6,100 this time last year. So in January 22nd of 2025, 6,100. Now we're at 6,900. Don't exactly have my calculator handy, but that'd be something like 13 or 14%, right? Which is, you know, that's pretty normal for the stock market. Why isn't the stock market going up like silver is? What this tells me is that these companies in the S&P 500 are not actually making money. They're keeping up with inflation, but they're not actually profitable. They're not actually making money. Silver is showing us what the result of that inflation is. I mean, you go from $50 in November to $100 in January. People are finding out that their dollar is worth nothing, and this really shows a very, very sharp decline in the confidence of the U.S. dollar. People, I believe, are it's almost like memetically, the memetic culture is like everybody is realizing at the same time that anything is better than holding the dollar, and the implications of that are not good. Even if this looks fun, like these charts are fun, I get it, but at some point you got to think of the societal impact of silver moving the way it has been. And gold too. I mean, gold hasn't been as crazy, but gold's still up 81% this year. And so even if you were buying gold and not silver, you've outpaced the S&P 500 by factors close to 5 or 6 years. You know, if the S&P 500 is doing 10 to 15% per year, it would take about 5 years to match 1 year's worth of growth from gold, and probably close to 10 to 15 years to do 1 year's silver. That makes me nervous, even beyond just the, like, yeah, we're all here to make money and it's fun, and you got to position yourself to do well. So do what you got to do to get by. But I'm thinking at a societal level, I don't see this ending well. Tommy says, I just bought a huge bag of silver 925 jewelry from thrift stores, 1.5 pounds of silver. Going to melt down, big chance to get some silver. That's awesome. I don't have any physical silver. I don't think I can justify buying it now. This reminds me of the fear and greed index. Like, this is where people get real greedy, thinking that they're gonna get in at $100 and it goes to 200. But maybe it does. Maybe it does go to 200. That's kind of the thing. It's like, you don't know where the top is at. But I always get nervous buying things when they're going up like this. That's why I get happy when I go over to the crypto market and I see that everything is down. It's like, okay, XRP is down for the past 6 months. It's like, yeah, maybe if I buy now, it's going to go down a little bit more, but it's not going to be like buying here at the top where, I mean, let's put it this way. If XRP goes down to $1.50, it's a lot easier to recover it back to $1.90 than it is to recover it back to $3.60. This right here, let's narrow this bad boy out a little bit. Okay, now the whole chart just disappeared. Where's the chart? Well, that was strange. Let's try that one more time. Okay, my chart's bugging out on me. That's real weird. I wonder why it's doing that. Okay, that's better. There we go. There we go. There we go. So right now I see this is like silver. I feel like silver is like maybe like right here. So it's we're probably going to see it do some kind of crazy spike. Maybe it goes to like $130. And then maybe there's like some kind of like disastrous crash. In general, if something's up, and this isn't financial advice, none of this is all just my opinion. If something rises this dramatically, the only logical answer is that there's going to be profit taking that wipes out the momentum, and then that's how you'll see like a sharp spike and a sharp crash. That's why I'm not buying silver right now, but I'm looking at it and yeah, you know, you kind of feel like you're missing out a bit, right? I'm watching this thing go from $50 to 100 in the span of a year, while the rest of us on XRP are watching XRP go down. You know, it doesn't feel great, but looking at this, it does make me nervous for the overall health of the market. Tommy says you could buy scrap silver and melt and make silver coins, guaranteed sales. Silver should be $600. I have heard that silver's price is being throttled. I don't know how you would do that though, but I have heard people say that. So if silver does go to $600, then maybe I'm the one that's being fearful, and it is a good opportunity to buy. It's interesting how all this stuff shakes out, right? You never really know if you're right or wrong until you have the hindsight, the 2020 vision. But one thing I can say is silver's never going anywhere. Silver will be around, like, you could pass those silver dollars down, or those silver coins 50, 60 years from now, and they're still going to be valuable, where that $10 bill in your wallet probably won't even buy you a gumball at the gumball machine in 50 years. They probably won't even make gumball machines anymore. In fact, I don't even know if they still do. You could have silver XRP and gold XRP coins, then have a giveaway on your show to promote them. Now that would be cool. Let's get the channel a little bigger first. I think I've just crossed like 7,000. It moves up every day. So we're at 7,200 subs. Maybe we get up to like 50,000 and we can start playing around with stuff like that. People would buy silver and gold XRP coins over metal. Just a thought. That'd be expensive though, wouldn't it? How much do you think? Because this coin I've got right here has got to be a couple ounces. So that would be like a $500 coin. I guess if you're selling them, then it's no big deal. Baller says, I will hold on to my stash of old Morgan silver dollars. Man, you guys are kind of making me wish I had some silver. I can tell you one thing, I would never buy paper silver. If I am buying silver, I'm getting the real thing. I want to see on this chart, this is something I'm curious about. I want to see if this will tell me silver and other currencies. Let's just see what the silver is in yen. Okay, so this is, let's see if we can pull this up. I don't know if I can get this side by side and still have it display to you guys in a way that's not like horribly gross, but here's what we can do, okay? I have silver for the Japanese yen, and we've got silver for the US dollar, and I'm going to drag this chart down so that it looks nice, so that my face isn't blocking it. And I have them both set to 1 year, and we're just going to go left and right. They're both set to 1 year. I mean, look at that. That's basically the same chart. So this is bigger. This is bigger than just the US dollar. It's all global fiat. Let's see how this looks with let's see how this looks with the Chinese yuan. I thought isn't China yuan? I thought China was the yuan. Ah, okay. It spelled different. Okay. Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah, I mean, guys, this is the same chart. This is the same chart. Let's look. Oops. So we're comparing, we just compared 3 different currencies. I feel like there's something really here. Maybe I'll make a whole video on this, and then we can really bake this one out. But silver right now, across 3 different countries' currencies, it's all at the same price. So we're not seeing a situation where US dollar is debasing, or the Japanese dollar is debasing, or the Chinese dollar is debasing. They're all falling simultaneously at the same time. Very interesting stuff. I'm a little nervous the implications of all this, because I think this is going to have a serious effect on the global stock market. I'm going to close my window. But I don't know, maybe silver is the thing to buy. If it's not just the US dollar that is falling, there might be a good case here. I'm going to think it over. There might be a good case here for actually buying silver coins if the entire global currency is agreeing that silver is up. You can grow your own pure silver with a silver cell. I have never heard that. I feel like you guys might know stuff that I don't have any context on. So that's interesting. If you can grow your own silver, let's pool our money together and start a silver farm. Wouldn't that be interesting? The Japanese bond market, interestingly enough, has stabilized at 225. It's been hanging out. I'm about to sneeze. I used to be good at holding my sneezes back, and now it just keeps on coming. Japanese bond market's been pretty stable for the past 2 days. Not really up or down. Um, I'm not sure what caused this. I thought it was the stock market sell-off, but then the stock market kind of went back up a little bit, so maybe that's not what it was. In fact, U.S. stocks, they're flat. They're definitely not going up, but they're not exactly going down either. Interesting to see what the implication is on this one. One way or another, I think it's very concerning that we're seeing precious metals shoot straight up, but the stock market's almost not even really acknowledging it. It makes you wonder, like, where's all this money coming from? I really don't understand it. If there's no sell-off on the stock market, I mean, there was a little bit of sell-off in crypto, but crypto doesn't have a market cap high enough to justify, a 2 or a 3x on silver. So I'm wondering where this is coming from. If it really is the money printer going burr, we could be looking at a crash of fiat currency worldwide. Vector says the elites would orbital strike us. I definitely think there's something to that. Many people show how to grow silver with a silver cell on YouTube. Even if it's legit, it destroys bottom lines of economy the same way we don't have water-powered cars. Yeah, I know about the hydrogen engine. The guy that invented it didn't last long. Do you know what I'm saying? He got the same way they got Kennedy, if you know what I'm saying. It could be that central banks looking to reintroduce the silver standard. I wonder if China has been stockpiling silver as a response to the United States going so hard on crypto. I wonder if we're looking at kind of like an arms race where United States and I guess you could say Southeast Asia and Europe as well are stockpiling crypto, and then China's and I suppose Russia as well, they're stockpiling silver and gold. In either event, I think the fiat currency goes to the wayside. So I feel like you're going to be fine whether you're buying crypto or buying precious metals, as long as you're buying anything but the dollar. It's a theory of mine. I suppose that could be the reason the price is so high, is if China's buying it up like crazy. Let's see if Google has anything to say about that. How much silver is China buying? Why is China buying? What does Grok have to say about this? So China's buying silver to industrial demand. We already know about the batteries, solar panels, and also a store of value. Are they buying so much silver that it could cause the price to spike like this, though? Or is there more to the story? Vector says, I always said heavy metals would appreciate before crypto to my friends. You know who else has said that, actually? He who shall not be named. Jake Claver has also said that. That was a mini joke, by the way. I don't necessarily dislike the guy. I just I don't know if I can trust his content anymore. But there's no denying that some of the stuff that he brought up was definitely like on point. If he never made price predictions, I would still like his content. But since he made that very outlandish price prediction, it didn't play out. Kind of untrustworthy. But his crypto theory is pretty spot on. Steph says, I noticed the last 4 years, either gold, silver, stocks, crypto, always have 50% of the folks saying it'll crash, bear market, and the other 50 say it's bullish, super cycle. Yeah. Well, I wonder how much of that is just People like to pick sides. For whatever reason, you don't see a lot of people out there that'll buy everything, right? Like, I guess even myself to an extent, I stopped buying stocks, so I don't really advocate the stock market anymore. But you'll see it here in crypto. No, like if you have Bitcoin, you're not allowed to like Ethereum. And if you have Ethereum, you're not allowed to like XRP. And if you have XRP, you're not allowed to like Stellar. And if you have Stellar, you're not allowed to like... Well, actually, none of them are allowed to like XRP. It seems like the only coins or the only communities that get along are XRP, Hedera, and Flare. And everybody else is like, it's our coin or no coin. And then I would bet you, and I'm not that caught up in the metals market, but I would almost bet you if you go to the gold and the silver spaces on Twitter or on Reddit, I bet the gold fanboys are complaining about silver, and I bet silver is talking about people that buy gold as like missing the boat or having paper hands or whatever. So interesting how it's like sports teams. People always pick their favorite. So looking through the chat, Pat says, Jake speaks like a car salesman tone, definitely peddling his business as well. Something that bothers me, and I've noticed this, I picked up on it right away when I was watching his channel. Almost every single stream, he says that his mastermind program is closing. That thing's been closing since like 2024. Is it ever going to close? But he's not the only channel that does that. There's a lot of channels that do that kind of stuff. I don't know. I mean, I guess you got to make your money somehow, but it makes it hard for me to trust you when you're doing stuff like that. Like, it's almost like the scam video I did about 2 weeks ago, where there's a timer, and the timer says you've only got like an hour left for the pre-sale. And then every time you go into his stream, he's saying, like, we're going to be closing the mastermind this week. And the mastermind never closes. So the thing is, like, he has really good things to say about global economy and the way the markets are moving and what are the political events going on. And then it just all goes out the window when he's peddling that mastermind thing. So I don't know. I just feel like there's something shady going on there that I just don't like. I saw something about Lewis Jackson. I watched Lewis Jackson right at the beginning, like you. Can't believe how much he's changed. Money does change people. I didn't watch Lewis Jackson until you guys told me about him. I guess he came out with this 5-part series. I watched the first 2 parts. I'm gonna be honest, his videos are really long and like they don't really get to the point. So I don't know if I don't know if I'll finish his video series. But the experience that I got watching, like, this one's 30 minutes. He probably could have gotten his point across in like 12 or 15. And I don't know. I'm not really that worried about the things he was saying in this video were things that I thought was like common knowledge. Like, he was talking about how if XRP can move at, transaction speeds of 5 seconds, and he's saying that you can move XRP like hundreds of times per day. I was like, I thought we already knew all that. Like, isn't that a feature that all of us were already aware of? And his argument was that you could move trillions of dollars a day with a $2 XRP if it's moving at breakneck speeds. I still don't agree with that, because you need the price of XRP to be able to handle spike volume, right? Like, if you're operating, for example, a beer store, you never want to be down to your last can of beer. You always want to have more in stock than what is going to get sold that day. And for the same reason, even if you could, in theory, bounce money all across the world, 5 seconds at a time, $2 XRP, whatever, it would end up having a similar problem to what we have right now, where basically everyone would have to get in line. And I mean, think about it. Like if there was going to be $1 trillion moved in one day, you would maybe have to wait 5 or 6 hours for XRP to then move your transaction, because it doesn't have the price to hold $1 trillion. And so you end up with the same problem that the current SWIFT problem has, is that it takes hours to move money. If instead XRP is trading at, let's just say $1,000 to make this easy. If XRP is trading at $1,000, it doesn't have to move $1 trillion every single day, but it would have the ability to move it instantly, and you would have that 5-second transaction. Now, whether the market is busy that day or not, it wouldn't affect your ability to move that money quickly. And so similar to like how a gas station always has more stock than what they're going to sell that day, I think you would want the XRP's price to be high enough to handle low and high volume days. So I don't know that I'm going to ever finish his video series. I don't know if I can. I'm sorry, I don't know him that well. I've only watched 2 or 3 of his videos. I don't know if I have it in me to watch a 40-minute video. Especially because he does some similar stuff that Jake Claver does, is he'll interrupt his thing to tell you how awesome his PDFs are. Personally, I know I'm a new channel. I've only got 7,000 and all that, and money changes people, sure. But I don't ever want to hide information behind a paywall. So if I do monetize this channel, I'll be honest with you guys, I'd rather you guys just skip through a 90-second ad read than for me to be selling you guys PDFs. What were we looking at before? Oh, we were looking at the bond markets. Let me catch up with the chat. Yeah, Vector says he waffles. He was baiting for views. Someone destroyed his framework when he tried to claim XRP was... you're trying to say useless? Sorry, I think there's a spelling error in there. Tommy says HBAR is the fastest, but it's not a blockchain. That's correct. It's a hash graph. I like... that's why I like it so much. There's nothing else really like it. If blockchain is Microsoft Windows, then Hashgraph is like Linux, or maybe like Apple's iOS. And then Quant with the Overledger. I kind of think about these tokens as like a football team. So like XRP is your quarterback, and then Quant is like the head coach. I don't know if this is working yet. It's like a football team. Everyone has a different position on the field, and no two players are doing the exact same thing. And so the guy throwing the football can't be the one catching the football, and the guy catching the football shouldn't be the one blocking on the line. And so in a similar way with crypto, XRP can't do every single task. It has its core feature, that's the cross-border settlements. HBAR, is involved with AI and tokenization. Got Quant with Overledger. They're making the umbrella that'll have interoperability. Flare's got DeFi. It helps fight against arbitrage. There's all these different features that these different tokens have. That's why I think it's good to hold more than just one. And they all complement each other. I think we looked at this on the stream yesterday, but I'm going to throw it up again just in case some of you guys are here for the first time. All of these tokens that I just mentioned are ISO. So XRP, HBAR, Flare, Quant. They're all ISO compliant, ISO 20022. Same thing with Cardano and Chainlink and Algorand and XDC. So if you think of it as like a football team, like here you go. Here's your Indiana, or is it Indiana? Yeah. Here's your Indiana. These are your Hoosiers right there. I don't know if that analogy checked out very well, but we're gonna run with it. Tommy says, monetize your own product. Your coins will be huge if you make silver and gold and more variety. I'd buy a few. Well, I'll still talk with Dean. I think we are gonna try to connect sometime this weekend and see if we can't get that Shopify set up. We tried to do it last weekend, but because I don't have a Shopify account, I couldn't link his website to my like channel store. But that'll give us a way to at least start getting some merch out that might be kind of, you know, low-hanging fruit, things like hats or like coffee mugs, for example. And then I think it'd be really cool to do some custom coins like the ones we have right here. Now, I don't know about making them actual gold or silver. Unless you guys really wanted to go down that road, we could figure it out. But I think that'd be a lot of investment from myself and Dean on the upfront. So if we were to do that, maybe we'd have to do like a pre-sale. But I have to imagine if he can cut these metal coins, he can probably cut gold and silver. I don't know if he's on the stream here today. I'd have to talk with him about that. Looking at Steph, I'm the same as Vector. Watch Lewis and other ones with experience in crypto. Andrew's only a few months in, but my gut instinct says even this early, Andrew's a good man. Aw, thank you. I appreciate you guys. You know, even though I just started making content, I've been in the finance game for a very long time. So I've been doing this really since I was like 18 years old. Not crypto, but just investing in general. My introduction to crypto is really in the last 2 years. But when I get into something, I go all in. Like not just with finance, but with anything. Like 2 years ago, I got into running. I ran a marathon the very first year I was running. You know, I've done bodybuilding shows. I got into this game, World of Warcraft. I ended up joining like a very high ranked guild on that server. Ended up being in like the top 5 guilds on the Night Slayer classic anniversary server. So it's like I'm not gonna do something just to be okay at it. Like I want to be the best. I had to quit playing Warcraft to do this channel because there's no way I was gonna make content and play that game at the same time, so I had to give it up. Best shoes for running. I was running in Ultras for a while. I think I'm mixing it up. The Ultras are more for like a zero drop shoe, which if you don't know what that means, a zero drop basically means that your heel and the balls of your feet are like level. I think that for me personally, I need some shoes that have a little bit more lift to them because I got Achilles tendonitis from running that marathon, and it seems like it's never truly gone away, but it's manageable if I have a shoe with some lift to it. Nike makes pretty good ones for that. Brooks makes good ones for that. I've never had Hoka's, so I've never tried them on, so I can't say for sure about Hoka's, but and you know, Nike makes for what it's worth, they make decent running shoes. They're cheap. Maybe don't run a marathon in Nikes, but you could definitely, like, if you're just running through the neighborhood or just doing like 4 or 5 mile runs, the Nikes work just fine. Tommy says, make crypto coin pillows, also a huge seller. They are hard to get. Ah, well, now that's an idea. We could call it my crypto pillow. Oh, that was corny. I'll see myself out. Let's see how many peeps we got in the chat right now. Ooh, we got 39. Let's see how many likes we got. Where's that at? We're at 25 likes. Could you guys help me get that to 30? And if you're joining for the first time, you haven't been to the channel before, could you also subscribe? Every little bit helps get this channel, get this thing moving. We'll be here every day, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. I try to shoot as much pre-recorded content as possible. So I'm right now I'm averaging about 5 videos a week. Got some exciting stuff in the pipeline. Gonna be doing a real big flare video soon. Covered that one I think yesterday, but just in case you weren't there for that, I bought a very nice bag of flare. I want to say it was either yesterday or 2 days ago at this point. Might have been 2 days ago, I believe. In any case, I bought a lot of flare for a video I'm going to be working on. It's going to start on February 1st. I'm essentially going to be doing a data-driven mini-series for flare. We're going to wrap, delegate, stake, and I guess wrapping and delegating are the same thing. We're going to delegate, we're going to stake, and we're going to use flare for collateral on the FXRP pools. And they're all going to be equal amounts so that we can put it into a spreadsheet and track which one performed the best over a period of 6 months. I want to also in that video series show you guys how to really look for the best FTSO providers, which I can throw this link in the chat just in case you guys are curious. This is where you can learn about all the FTSO providers. I'll show you guys in that video how I come up with the one that I'm going to end up using. But just to give it to you guys up front pretty quick, I believe it's on this performance tab. I'm going to be looking for an FTSO provider that has a 100% hit rate, but then it also has to be active until at least August of 2026. Because once I have it staked, I don't want to micromanage it or else it's going to kind of screw up the data a little bit. So I'll look for the right FTSO provider. We're going to use the same FTSO for delegating as we do for staking. And this will just kind of show what are the pros and cons, how safe is it really. You know, if I'm able to return to you guys with 6 months worth of claimed rewards without any hiccups or problems, I feel like that would go a long way at showing you guys that, you know, staking's not as scary as it sounds. And in that series, you know, we can experiment with claiming the rewards, converting it out of the wrapped flare, converting it into stable coins. You know, we can have some fun with it. Over the next 6 months, I expect we're probably going to see a lot of updates from the Flare network itself. We might even be able to catch some of their new features in this mini series as they get rolled out. So very excited for that one. I already have the tokens. I'm just waiting for February 1st to start it. That way the dates are nice and clean. We'll just go from February 1st to August 1st. It'll be a clean 6 months. The last flare drop comes out on January 30th. And I wanted that last flare drop to be done with so that the flare drop doesn't, you know, skew any of the data. Because I do believe if I was to start the experiment now, I might actually qualify for that last airdrop, and that would make the delegation pull ahead a little bit more than the staking and the FXRP. So keep an eye out for that. I think that'll be coming through the pipeline pretty soon. Thank you guys. You brought me up to 35 likes. That is truly appreciated. Helps people know, or it helps YouTube know that this channel is growing and is providing super awesome content. I do think I'm going to start kind of wrapping things a little bit unless you guys have anything in particular that you want me to look at. Not a whole lot of news coming out of Davos today, but mostly people on Twitter just fighting. We got our favorite IQ guy. This dude's out of control. I don't know where he's come out of. this dude just came out of nowhere. I mean, he's like all over Twitter with his IQ crap saying which coins are going to be going up. And of course, nothing he says ever works out. I haven't been too happy with the Twitter experience lately. It almost seems like it's just a place for grifters to grift, but yeah, not a whole lot of crazy news coming out of Twitter today. So what I want to do this weekend is spend some more time looking through Davos and seeing if I can get some actual updates that came out of that. It's been a little tough between trying to make the content, but then also research the content. It can be hard to do both simultaneously. So this weekend will give me an opportunity to do that. Tommy says another idea for you is crypto coin gym bags. See, we could do all kinds of stuff. I'd see that Dean's hopped in. This weekend, I'm going to sign up for Shopify and see if that'll allow me to synchronize my YouTube channel with Dean's site. That way, as you guys can even see it here, we'll get away from this dude's channel. There should be something around here that'll say like shop or something like that. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. Earn. So I can set up a YouTube store. It'll make it so it'll be real easy stuff. You could just go straight into here. Obviously, I'm on my creator side of the page, so this isn't how it's gonna look. But if I sync up a Shopify, we should be able to make products for you guys that show up straight in the videos themselves, like not in the video, but like in the description part. That we can throw hats, XRP coasters. Just some cool little stuff for you guys to get. And then, of course, you can always go to his website. And you could go there right now, actually. And you could actually just get whatever you want. That would also be an option while we get this thing started. And Dean was saying, could be cool. I was telling my wife it would be cool to make a small patch of maybe top 8-10 tokens and let people create a hat or bag with their top 3 or something. I wouldn't mind getting some flare stuff soon. I think I need to make an addition to my wall, so we can work something out for that for sure. I want to get a Lamborghini wrapped with all the different tokens. I think that would be funny. Let's close out of there. Sorry, Lewis. Let's see. But I do think I think we got through quite a few things today. It's not a whole lot of new news here coming out Friday, but we'll just have to keep an eye on the markets. Silver is just out of control, but beyond that, the crypto market didn't have too much movement, so we'll just monitor that over the weekend. I do think I'm going to start wrapping this up, but more content will be coming out this week. I think there might be something here. I might make a video on this tonight. Look, and if you're joining midway through the stream, I'll just show you silver. And this is the US dollar, silver on the US dollar, silver on the Japanese yen, silver on the Chinese yuan. All these charts are the same. So this is telling me that this story is bigger than just the US dollar is hyperinflating or the Japanese yen is hyperinflating. I mean, these charts are basically identical, right? So interesting stuff. I think I might spend some time poking around, see if I can unravel this thread a little bit more. And I think that could make a cool video. Because I think there's definitely something going on here. It's what's happening right here is not normal. And so I'll spend some time tonight trying to think about what that could be. And then we'll make a video probably on what I come up with. But unlike some of these other crypto guys, I'm not going to pretend like I've discovered the hidden secret that no one else knows, and that's what's going to make XRP go to $480,000 per token. No, we're figuring stuff out in real time, right? We're walking in the woods without a flashlight. We got to kind of figure things out as we go. One theory we kind of talked a bit on the channel, this could just be China stockpiling silver and gold. And if that's the case, I think there could be, in a roundabout way, very good for crypto, because if China stockpiles gold and silver and the United States stockpiles crypto, it just means that money is moving into these new markets, or in the case of gold and silver, they're not necessarily new, but definitely an alternative market. So keep an eye out for that. Dean says, oh yeah, here we go. Click on community and then the newest post. Yeah, let's see if this works. Did this work? Oh, this is cool. Yeah, let's see. You know, I'm still figuring out how to use YouTube myself. I know I probably shouldn't be saying that, but how do I click on this thing? I know this, I should already know how to do this. Here we go. Okay, cool. Yeah, join the community tab. This is how we can get a hold of Dean and some of the gear that we've been working on. I'll try to get that shop set up, but there's no reason you couldn't just go to Dean directly while we get that thing worked out. Let's see, here we go. Sneak peek at the patch I'm working on. This would be hats. They must be heat applied so that Dean can do that. Here we go. Order a small batch for the moonshot. Let's be the perfect I told you so. Okay, Andrew and I will probably have this on the store when we get it rocked out. Sweet. Yeah, so this is here. So I think you guys can see it. Sometimes I don't know what you guys can see versus what I can see, since you know I have the developer version of YouTube here. But if you guys can find that, let me know. And then what we're gonna do is I said it a few times already, but we'll work on getting that Shopify set up. And with that, guys, I do think I'm going to start wrapping. Kind of got through all the topics I had today. Unless you guys have some specific questions, we'll probably start wrapping the stream up. Very cold day here in Michigan, so I don't know where you guys are at, but stay warm wherever you are. It's like 0 degrees today, and it's going to get colder. We're going to have a lot of snow this weekend, so good opportunity for me to stay in the house and hunker down on some good research. As always, subscribe if you haven't already. I think I'm going to start closing this out, and then Pat says big props. Last couple of streams have been very solid and stable. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. We got the stream started today without any technical issues. I think that's got to be one of the first times that's actually worked out. I've been hardwiring into my computer, so you know that fixes the connection problem. Today I made sure my mic was plugged in, which fixed the mic problem, and I made sure the camera was turned on. Yes, all three of these things have happened in different streams, so just, you know, it's part of being a content creator is making sure all your equipment's on. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Get out there and enjoy the snow if you live in the north, and I'll see you guys Monday. I'll try to make a silver related video for you guys, either come out tonight or tomorrow morning. All right. Hope you guys are going to have a good weekend. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.